Hey everyone, I made a screencast so I can explain the basics of Lazy Granite and the history of how this product really came to be. So let's start with why granite. It used to be a luxury item where only very, very expensive homes had it, and over time it became like power windows. More and more people expected it in cars. It's still not necessarily standard, and granite's not standard in all homes, but more people expect it these days. It's practically better than the alternatives, meaning it's a good surface to cook on. It's relatively easy to clean. It doesn't burn. It doesn't scratch easily. So it's a good thing. It's a good material to have in your kitchen countertop. It's also much more affordable, definitely thanks to Lazy Granite, than it used to be. Prices overall have dropped for granite. So really the question becomes, do you use a slab or do you use granite tile? Slabs are expensive. You need to hire a company to fabricate the stone for you. It takes a while usually. Most shops have some kind of backlog, and it can take 2 to 6 weeks depending on how busy the shop is. But you have endless options. There's literally thousands of colors of stone you can choose from if you have a distributor in your city. It's You can do any kind of edges on the countertop. You can do any sink. Just a lot of options. Granite tile is a lot less expensive, much, much less expensive. It's faster, meaning just like with Lazy Granite, you can pick it up and a typical kitchen counter will take a day and a half really for a first time install. A lot of people can do it in a day. The downsides are it has a lot of seams, and while a do-it-yourselfer can do it, it's difficult for do-it-yourselfers. So we started looking at how to make it easier for do-it-yourselfers to use granite tile products, and this really goes back to the history of Lazy Granite. Before there was the Lazy Tile, we were looking at just doing edging. So edges are the piece that conceals the front where you've got the plywood and the cement board, and everything that was on the market was this type of edge on the left side. Now the problem with this edge was this piece right here is heavier than the piece that's behind it. So the result is you would set the piece down, put it in, apply mortar, and 20 minutes later it'd be unlevel. It'd be tipping forward a little bit. So the solution was to tape all of your seams. The problem with taping all of your seams is now you can't really see the seam that well, and of course it's a pain, and then you got to clean off any tape residue that's left there if you're using a stronger tape like duct tape. So our solution was really simple. We just made the bullnose edge deeper. With a deeper bullnose edge, it wouldn't fall off anymore, and it was much easier to install, and our customers loved it. We sold a lot of this bullnose edge. Over time, we added other edge options. We offered our rounded corners because people were saying, hey, I really don't like these sharp edges. I have kids, I have grandkids, and they run around and it's the head height of a 6-year-old. So edges could be dangerous in a house. We offered the rounded edge. Then we offered the OG edge backsplash piece. Then we came up with the Lazy Granite tile itself. Then the sink kit, and now we have a patent pending on the whole system. So you can see how over time this has evolved into a better and better product. I'm talking a lot about edge profiles, and I just want to explain what we're saying. Previously I said bullnose a lot, then I said OG edge for the backsplash, and I also said that when you go get a slab fabricated for you, you have almost endless edge profile options. So these are the different edges that the front of a slab can have. This isn't all the edges, but this is a lot of edges. So we offer the full bullnose, you can see it right here, for the Lazy Granite product, and then for the backsplash we have what this company calls Roman OG. Both are really common edges. For Lazy Granite, we don't offer any other types of edge. Sometimes people will say, well, hey, I'd like a large bevel. Fortunately, we can't do it. And this is how we really keep the price down, by keeping everything with the full bullnose. People often say, is Lazy Granite actual granite? Yes. Lazy granite is natural stone. It's all granite. We don't use anything but granite, and people will ask us about marble, travertine, and quartz. Marble is softer, it stains easier. We don't really think it's good for kitchens. It really needs to be sealed. Travertine, it's more porous and again, just not suitable for kitchens, especially if you're going to be doing a bunch of cooking in there. Quartz is a man-made material from recycled glass and stone, and then there's a special glue that holds it all together, and it's put into a giant press where it's heated and put under a large pressure. Some companies that make quartz are Corian and Silestones. Those are just brand names. Quartz is very expensive. It's a nice material, but it's extremely difficult to fabricate. And of course, the manufacturers charge for the blank slabs more money than natural stone costs. It's quite an extensive manufacturing process. It's a great material, but in our opinion, it's overpriced right now. Maybe 10 years from now it'll be less expensive. There's so many granite options that it doesn't necessarily make sense to spend more money on quartz, because there's probably something in granite that you'll find that you already like. But quartz has a big market, so not for everyone. The main alternative to stone is called Formica. Now, Formica is just, everyone's seen it. It's particle board with a type of plastic that goes on top of it, and it's literally just particle board, so you can cut it with a saw. The downsides are it can burn and scratch much easier than granite can. It's not as aesthetically appealing. It has, usually Formica, the plastic film that's on top, the manufacturers will try to imitate natural stone, and you can pretty clearly tell that it's not natural stone. What else can I tell you about Formica? Formica is a great solution. It's just not necessarily considered a luxury item. And I've seen great Formica tops that have lasted for 40 years. A lot of our customers are replacing Formica tops. Some will go ahead and install on top of a Formica top all their Lazy Granite product. On the questions page, we have an FAQ that walks you through what you need to do to install over a Formica top. Lazy Granite gets installed on top of 1/2-inch plywood and 1/4-inch cement board. That's what we recommend. Alternatively, you can use 3/4-inch waterproof plywood. So the question is, what does that cement board do? The cement board prevents mold and swelling in case some water seeps through the tile or through the seams in between tiles. You don't want mold to grow underneath your kitchen countertop, and if it gets to the wood beneath there, the wood swells up, it'll end up cracking a tile. Cement board is also known as Wonder Board, Hardy Board. Those are all just brand names. How do you glue this stuff down? Thin set mortar, a lot of people just call it a thin set. And this allows you to regulate the height of the tiles, so in case things aren't level, you can adjust. Tile mats are basically double-sided tape. They're a new product. Some of our customers have tried to use them and gave us good results. The problem with tile mat is it doesn't allow you to adjust for height. So the differences between two lazy tiles, you have no way to adjust for it. It makes the installation a lot more difficult, and we generally don't recommend it. And glues like liquid nails for granite and marble, again, you can't, they're not really for doing this. They're for small little projects where you need to glue something on. Thin set mortar is mixed just like a pancake batter. And there's different kinds of mortar, but mortar is also what's used for bricklaying, so you've seen this stuff plenty of times before. What goes in between the tiles? Great question. There's a lot of different things that you can put there. The recommended method is grout. Grout, also very similar to mortar. It's kind of this cement mix, but usually finer. And there's sanded and non-sanded grout, meaning is there sand inside or not sand. If you're using grout, we recommend non-sanded grout. You can use silicone, and we've seen a lot of customers do silicone really well in between pieces, and they end up coloring the silicone with markers and or paint, and they do a fantastic job of hiding their seams. The only downside to silicone is it can be cut with a knife. It's relatively soft, so if you were to jab a knife in there, it'll just cut right through. Not right through, but it can cut through. And then there's epoxy grout, and there's different types of epoxies that can be used for seams. Those are usually for more advanced installers, people who have a little bit of experience doing this. The reason is there's a quick set time, so you have something like 15 minutes before the product starts to harden, and if you didn't do a good job, if you need to make adjustments, that can get rough. Kitchen sink types. There are 3 primary kitchen sink types. Undermounts, where the sink goes underneath the stone, and that's what the Lazy Granite sink kit is. It includes an undermount sink. Top mounts, where the sink sits on top of the counter, and usually the faucet holes are in the sink itself, not in the countertop. And then there's apron style, also known as farm style sinks. These are crazy expensive. People ask us about them once in a while, but I'm pretty sure that they haven't realized how expensive they are when they're asking, and in the end, very few people end up using apron style sinks. Undermount is the best way to go because it looks nicer, and it's great for cleaning the countertop. You can just take a rag and sweep everything into the sink, into your garbage disposal, so quick and easy cleaning, much more practical. Natural stone has to be sealed, otherwise it'll stain. So this picture on the left side, if that's what unsealed stone will look like if you spill a Coke and don't clean it up right away. The Coke will absorb into the stone and stain it. On the right side looks like some kind of juice came out of a cup and stained that stone. Sealers, it's wax on, wax off. You spray the sealer on and you kind of rub it across with a cloth, and then you apply the sealer again, kind of rub it across with a cloth, and then you're pretty much done. Most sealers, acid will eat through them, meaning lime juice, things like that, will affect a granite countertop or marble or any stone really. People do need to be careful with acids. Broken tiles. When people are ordering on lazygranite.com, they're always warned that they need some extra tile, and the reason is you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes some pieces can get chipped in the shipping process. Sometimes we can break a tile when we're cutting it. Sometimes you just drop one. Stuff happens, and it's not easy at all to ship these across the country one by one UPS style. That's why we ship them with a crate. But if a piece is chipped, broken, it's not really a big deal. Almost always it's still usable. You just cut off the part that's chipped or broken off, and you still have a usable piece. So how do you learn more? The questions page on the Lazy Granite site. Make sure you hit every link on there at least twice. Study the diagrams. Watch all the videos in depth and make sure you're paying attention. Watch our YouTube channel. We always post a lot of good info on there. And in general, just do some research on YouTube. There's a lot of good stuff showing you how granite is manufactured. By manufactured, I mean cut out of the side of a mountain and polished and things like that. Definitely good to see how that stuff is done.